Good morning. This is PJ, and it is Thursday, June 17th, 2021. And here is our daily readings for the day. We have our three readings. Our Psalm reading, because it's Thursday, is a new one. Psalms 107, 1 through 3, and then 23 through 32. Then Job 29, 1 through 20 is our Old Testament reading. In Acts chapter 20, verses 1 through 16 is our New Testament reading. So here we go. Psalms 107, 1 through 3, and then 23 through 32. Say thank you to the Lord for being so good, for always being so loving and kind. Has the Lord redeemed you? Then speak out. Tell others he has saved you from your enemies. He brought the exiles back from the furthest corners of the world. And then there are sailors sailing the seven seas, plying the trade routes of the world. They, too, observe the power of God in action. He calls to the storm winds, the waves rise high. Their ships are tossed to the heavens and sink again to the depths. The sailors cringe in terror. They reel and stagger like drunkards and are at wits' ends. Then they cry out to the Lord in trouble, and he saves them. He calms the storm, stills the water. What a blessing is that stillness as he brings them safely to the harbor. Oh, that these men would praise the Lord for the loving kindness and for all the wonderful deeds. Let them praise him publicly before the congregations and before the leaders of the nation. Job 29, 1 through 20 is our Old Testament reading. And once again, I hope you do not mind, but I'm going to take a drink of coffee. There we go. Oh, for the years gone by, when God took care of me, when he lighted the way before me, and I walked safely through the darkness. Yes, in my early years, when the friendship of God was felt in my home, when the Almighty was still with me and my children were around me, when my projects prospered and even the rock poured out streams of olive oil to me. Those were the days when I went out to the city gate and took my place among the honored elders. The young saw me and stepped aside, and even the aged rose and stood in respect of my coming. The princes stood in silence and laid their hands upon their mouths. The highest officials of the city stood in quietness. All rejoiced in what I said. All who saw me spoke well of me. For I, as an honest judge, helped the poor in their need and the fatherless who had no one to help them. I helped them, those who were ready to perish, and they blessed me. And I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. All I did was just and honest, for righteous was my clothing. I served as eyes for the blind and feet for the lame. I was as a father to the poor, and saw it that even strangers received a fair trial. I knocked out the fangs of the godless oppressors and made them drop their victim. I thought, surely I shall die quietly in the nest of a good long life. For everything I did prospered. The dew lay all night upon the fields and watered them. Fresh honors was constantly given to me, and my abilities were constantly refreshed and renewed. Our New Testament reading today comes from the book of Acts, chapter 20, verses 1 through 16. When it was all over, Paul sent for the disciples, preached a farewell message to them, said, goodbye and left for Greece, preaching to the believers along the way in all the cities that he passed through. He was in Greece 3 months, and he was preparing to sail for Syria when he discovered a plot by the Jews against his life. So he decided to go north to Macedonia first. Several men were traveling with him, going as far as Turkey. They were Sopater of Berea, the son of Pyrrhus, Asicarius and Zacchaeus from Thessalonica, Gaius from Derbe, and Timothy and Tychus and Trophimus was among returning to their homes in Turkey. And he had gone on ahead, and he was waiting for us at Troas. As soon as the Passover ceremonies ended, we boarded the ship in Philippi, in northern Greece, and 5 days later, we arrived in Troas, Turkey, where we stayed for a week. On Sunday, we gathered for a communion service with Paul preaching, and since he was leaving the next day, he talked until midnight. The upstairs room where we met was lighted with many flickering lamps, and as Paul spoke on and on, a young man named Eutychus, sitting on the windowsill, went fast asleep, and he fell 3 stories to his death below. Paul went down and took him into his arms. "Don't worry," he said. "He's all right." And he was. What a wave of awesome joy swept through the crowd. They all went back upstairs and ate the Lord's Supper together, and Paul preached another long sermon. So it was dawn when he finally left them. Paul was going by land to Assos, and we went ahead by ship. He joined us there, and we sailed together to Mytilene. The next day we passed Chios. The next day we touched at Samos, and a day later we arrived at Miletus. Paul had decided against stopping at Ephesus this time, as he was hurrying to get to Jerusalem, if possible, for the celebration of Pentecost. And here ends our readings for the day.